New theory may have finally solved the disappearance of Malaysia Flight 370. In the middle of the night on March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 belonging to Malaysian Airlines roared to life. As 227 passengers boarded, pilots readied to make the trip from the country's capital of Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, China. However, the plane never arrived. In fact, it practically disappeared off the radar, along with every person on it. Over the years, some pieces have fallen into place regarding its fate, but most of the factors leading to its demise are still shrouded in mystery.
Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
Not just anyone can take the wheel of a massive commercial jetliner and safely maneuver it to a runway thousands of miles away. That skill was what made pilot Zahari Ahmad Shah such a vital member of Malaysian Airlines. Shah was 53 years old and he was one of the senior captains of the airline. The experience he had under his belt was the reason he was tasked with accompanying a pilot in training on the morning the plane vanished. The trainee, a 27-year-old Farid Hamid, and Malaysian Flight 370 was slated to be his last training flight before his final certification and official membership into Malaysian Airlines. It was a certification he'd never received. There was no reason to think anything suspicious was going to happen when the flight took off from the runway like it'd done hundreds of times before. The passengers on board, like any flight, expected a safe trip. All 227 passengers, 10 flight attendants, and both pilots started the trip with enthusiasm. They hit their cruising altitude of 35,000 feet rather quickly, but not long after Shah bid goodnight to a Malaysian air traffic controller, the plane vanished. It didn't make any sense to the Vietnamese controllers watching the radar screen displaying planes flying through their airspace. Within 40 seconds of entering the area, the plane was completely undetectable. Things soon became chaotic. Kuala Lumpur's Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center should have been contacted immediately, but they weren't. It took hours before any kind of emergency response was issued. People's heads started swirling. Terrorism was a natural theory, but the fact that the plane briefly popped back up on the radar, heading in a completely different direction shortly after disappearing, dispelled the theory. It was a path no hijacker would take. Regardless of where the plane was headed, it vanished, and everyone on board was classified as missing. Friends and families of the victims were destroyed, but one man refused to sweep anything under the rug. His name was Blaine Gibson, and from day one, he was infatuated with the mystery. In fact, he actually attended Flight 370's one-year commemoration in 2015 and grew close with Grace Subathrai Nathan, a woman whose mother was on board. Gibson made the decision to become the flight's private beachcomber, wandering up and down miles of shoreline, hoping to come across some kind of debris that could act as a vital clue. Yet the Malaysian government wasn't exactly transparent when providing information to countries willing to help search for the wreckage. Investigators from Europe, Australia, and the US began the search in the South China Sea, but soon realized they were way off target. So much manpower was wasted in the early days of searching. Through scattered bits of information, the search teams eventually managed to narrow down the area to a section of ocean that still required an immense undertaking to explore. In the meantime, Gibson searched high and low on shorelines, yet was always met with disappointment. However, on July 29, 2015, a piece of airfoil was found on the French island of Reunion. Was it part of Flight 370? It was, but it also meant that the plane did, in fact, completely break apart in a violent crash in the Indian Ocean. Any hope of the passengers having survived was now gone forever. The conspiracies, however, grew stronger. One of the focal points of the doomed flight was the seasoned pilot Zahari Ahmad Shah. Even though he had a clean record, people wanted to know more about him. News crews flocked to his residence for more information. What they found was alarming. The man, who some had claimed was a happily married man, was, according to those who knew him, actually sad and lonely. His wife had even left him, relocating to the family's second home. As investigators began to comb through the pilot's private life, they determined he may have been clinically depressed. This depression, some theorized, also had to do with his interaction on social media. Shah apparently grew very fond of two internet models, even going as far as reaching out to them via Facebook messages. The girls did not respond, and tabloids began to wildly speculate that it caused Shah to crash the plane on purpose. There's still no conclusive evidence on what happened on that fateful flight. Like with any unsolved mystery, all we can do is wait. Please share with your friends and family.